In 1587, a fleet of English ships, led by Governor John White, arrived on the untamed shores of what is now North Carolina. Their mission was to establish the first permanent English colony in the New World, a foothold of England in a land full of mystery and danger. This place would come to be known as Roanoke. At the time, the landscape was a wild expanse of dense forests, tangled swamps, and rolling hills, inhabited by indigenous tribes whose languages, customs, and ways of life were entirely foreign to the newcomers. The settlers faced an environment both beautiful and perilous, full of unknown dangers and challenges that no one in England could have foreseen. The Roanoke colony was meant to be a symbol of England's growing power and ambition in North America. Among the settlers were men and women of all ages, including families with children, skilled craftsmen, soldiers, and sailors, about 115 people in total. Each arrived with hope and determination, seeking new opportunities, adventure, and the promise of a better life in a new land. But they soon discovered that the New World was not a land to be tamed easily. The first months of settlement were marked by labor and adaptation. Colonists worked tirelessly to build shelters from the dense timber of the forests, construct defensive palisades, and cultivate small gardens to sustain themselves. They explored the surrounding lands, noting edible plants, hunting small game, and learning the rhythms of the wilderness. Governor John White, who was also an artist and chronicler, documented every aspect of the colony. He recorded the appearance of new plants, the behavior of animals, and encounters with the indigenous tribes. Some tribes offered friendship and trade, while others remained distant or openly hostile. The settlers began to understand that survival in this land required diplomacy, careful observation, and respect for the forces of nature and the people who had lived there for centuries. Despite these efforts, challenges quickly became overwhelming. The colony faced shortages of food, the unpredictability of the climate, and the sheer isolation from England. In the face of these difficulties, John White decided to return to England to gather additional supplies and reinforcements, leaving the colony in the hands of a few senior settlers with the promise that he would return within months. White's journey back to Roanoke was fraught with delays and danger. War in Europe, storms at sea, and other obstacles prevented him from returning until 1590. When he finally arrived, he found the settlement utterly deserted. The houses were empty, gardens overgrown, and no sign of human life remained. The only clue left behind was the word Croatoan, carved into a tree, and a mysterious mark on a gatepost. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no definitive evidence explained what had happened to the colonists. The mystery of Roanoke has fascinated historians and researchers for centuries. Multiple theories have been proposed, each attempting to explain the fate of the vanished settlers. Theory 1: Integration with native tribes. One of the most widely discussed hypotheses suggests that the colonists may have joined local indigenous communities, possibly the Croatoan tribe. The carving on the tree could have been a signal indicating that they relocated to Croatoan Island, now known as Hatteras Island. Archaeological discoveries support this theory. European artifacts from the 16th century, including pottery, iron tools, and personal items, have been found in areas associated with modern indigenous tribes in North and South Carolina. Perhaps some colonists survived by assimilating into these communities, losing their European identity but preserving their lives. Theory 2: Hostile attacks. Another possibility is that the settlers fell victim to attacks by hostile tribes. Conflicts between indigenous groups were common, and misunderstandings between Europeans and Native Americans could have escalated into violence. While evidence of widespread attacks is scarce, it cannot be completely ruled out. Theory 3: Starvation and disease. Harsh winters, scarce food supplies, and exposure to unfamiliar diseases could have decimated the population. Swampy areas were rife with disease-carrying insects, and winters without adequate provisions could lead to death from malnutrition and cold. It is possible that some colonists attempted to migrate to other areas for survival but perished in the wilderness. Theory 4: Natural disasters. Severe weather and natural disasters could also have been responsible. The North Carolina coast is prone to hurricanes and violent storms that might have destroyed homes, spoiled food, and claimed lives without leaving clear evidence behind. Such catastrophic events could account for the absence of bodies and the complete erasure of human traces. Theory 5. Secret relocation or mystical forces. Some more mysterious theories suggest that the colony may have been secretly relocated or destroyed by unknown forces. Legends of curses, conspiracies, and supernatural intervention have surrounded Roanoke for centuries, inspired by the enigmatic carvings left behind and the complete lack of survivors. The daily lives of the colonists were fraught with tension and fear. They faced not only external threats, but also the psychological strain of isolation. The constant anxiety about attacks, starvation, and disease took its toll. Children grew up in uncertainty, while adults struggled to maintain hope in a land that seemed indifferent to their survival. Every night, the settlers faced the terror of wild animals, harsh weather, and the ever-present unknown. Archaeologists and historians have continued to search for clues for centuries. Excavations on Hatteras Island and surrounding areas have uncovered fragments of pottery, bone needles, iron tools, and other artifacts that hint at the presence of Europeans long after the colony vanished. These findings suggest that some of the colonists may have survived by integrating with native communities, but the details remain uncertain. The story of Roanoke has inspired generations of writers, researchers, and enthusiasts. It has given rise to countless legends, from tales of curses and secret plots to mystical disappearances that defy explanation. Nearly 4 centuries later, Roanoke remains a chilling echo of the past, a haunting reminder of human vulnerability in an untamed world. The Roanoke colony is a story of courage, hope, adaptation, and tragedy. It reminds us how thin the line between life and death can be in the wilderness, how quickly the pursuit of discovery can turn into disaster, and how little we know about events that took place in lands not yet understood or conquered. It is more than a historical mystery, it is a lesson in the fragility of life, the collision of cultures, and the enduring power of unanswered questions. Every artifact, every tree carving, every fragment of pottery serves as a silent testament to the courage, resilience, and ultimate fate of the settlers. Though time has obscured the details, the story of Roanoke continues to intrigue and haunt, an eternal echo of ambition, fear, and the human desire to explore the unknown.